Yes guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be talking about some around Europe that have surprised everyone this season, whether that's in their own respective leagues or in Europe. Before we go, don't forget to hit that like button as it really helps the video out. Subscribe to the channel as well so you don't miss any future uploads, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. Up first we have Atalanta for their performances in the Champions League as well as their own league, the Serie A. After a fantastic season last season, beaten Bayer Leverkusen in the league final, which was against all odds to be honest, because Bayer Leverkusen last season were just a different breed. They had so many players. Everyone was expecting them to win Europa League as well as the Bundesliga, but it stopped them. And full credit to them, and they've carried that form over into this season as well. They're currently sitting in second in Serie A, looking really good. Beat Napoli, who are currently top. 3-0 away from home. Very dominant performance, to be honest. They maybe even deserve to win by more. You've got to Matteo Retegui as well, who's got 12 goals and 3 assists this season in just 13 games. So for me, he has been their main man, a constant goal threat, and has looked so dangerous this season. You've got the likes of Charles de Ketelaere as well, who was seen as sort of a outcast really at AC Milan. You know, didn't really click for him in the few years that he was there. He's come to Atalanta after coming on loan from them last season. He's now there permanently, and yeah, he's looked great. He's looked really good. He's playing off that sort of right-hand side / just behind that Retegui position. So he's been racking up the assists. He's got 5 assists already. And yeah, he's just really comfortable now. He's settled in at Atalanta, and it's so good to see a young player thriving who had such a high potential at AC Milan and was unfortunately, it just didn't work out there. But now he's found his mojo, and yeah, he looks really good. They've done what it needs to do in the Champions League as well, to be honest. You know, they've beaten lots of Shakhtar Donetsk, Stuttgart and Young Boys very comfortably, and they've looked really good in Europe. You know, some teams, they only look good in their league, and they've carried that form into Europe as they did last season. And yeah, they've just been great. You know, they got a draw against Arsenal as well at home, which they could have won if it weren't for David Raya. You know, really strong performance by Atalanta. And yeah, they just look like a really good side, a very strong side, a tough side to sort of handle. And it sort of gives me a flashback of how they were before, you know, when they're like Duvan Zapata, Koopmeiners as well before he left, De Roon as well. I remember that sort of team that was very dangerous, you know, a very good team. And it's just it's sort of like a renaissance season for them. They're sort of coming back to how they used to be, challenging for the league, challenging for the top 4 spots, and yeah, they look really good. They sit 8th in the qualification phase of the Champions League, so yeah, they're looking really good, especially for the other sides that, you know, that are below. You've got like the Manchester City, Real Madrid, PSG that are all below them. Obviously fixtures do depend on that, but yeah, what can you say? Atalanta, they're on the players that they have. You don't expect them to be as high as they are, and they're doing really well. So yeah, because of their performances in Europe and in Serie A, I've gone with Atalanta. After Germany now, where we focus on Eintracht Frankfurt with their performances in the league as well as in Europe. Currently sits second in the Bundesliga, just behind Bayern Munich, after finishing 6th last season as well. So when you consider the other teams around, we've got lots of RB Leipzig, Borussia Dortmund challenging for that 2nd spot. You know, they're outperforming expectations. You know, they haven't got the budget them types of teams have. And this translates as well into Europe. They're currently 3rd in the league phase and look really strong in Europe. They've won their last 4 games in a row in Europe as well. So what more could you ask for? Main man this season has obviously been Omar. You know, what a player this man is. You know, he's got 13 goals and 7 assists in just 12 league games, and it shows how much of a goal threat this man is. And Europe's top clubs are obviously sniffing around for him, hearing multiple reports out of Italy, England, that big clubs are going to make a move for him, and you can see why with them types of stats. He scored 2 goals as well against Bayern Munich in a 3-3 draw. So he can do it against the big sides, no problem, and that's what the big clubs are looking after. When you look at Frankfurt and their history of, you know, getting them big name strikers, elevating their game, and then shipping them off for big fees, you know, you've got like Jovic, Sebastian Haller, and now Omar Mamouche. So Frankfurt, doing whatever they're producing, whoever's their recruitment staff needs to take big praise, because they're producing some really good top talent. And you know, you've got like Kostic as well, who was brought in for a low fee from Stuttgart. Again, they sold him on to Juventus. So yeah, the recruitment team has got to take huge credit for the seasons that have been having in previous years. So Frankfurt bounced back from a poor season last season, so for me they had to be in here just because of their performances in Europe and in the league. Next up we have Liverpool for their performances in the Premier League as well as the Champions League. Already 9 points clear in the league this season, looking really strong. Only conceded 9 goals in 13 games as well, which again is another ridiculous stat. Beat Manchester City 2-0. They've beaten Chelsea 2-1. Teams that are challenging this season, they've brushed them aside. And when it comes to that second part of the season, and they've got to play them again, you know that they're going to have the advantage because they've already got the better of them once already this season. So it's no doubt they'll probably do it again. Their defence as well just looks amazing this season, revolutionised under Arne Slot. You've got likes of Trent as well, who's never really seen as a top defender, has been much better this season. His defensive numbers have been way more improved than in previous seasons under Klopp. Dyke has been amazing as always, you know, he's always Mr. Reliable, very rarely has a bad season, I feel. And alongside Konate as well, who's been amazing. You know, he's stepped up his game and has sort of solidified himself as a really good player next to Van Dijk. And he was known for being injured a lot as well, Konate, you know, and he has suffered an injury now, but throughout them 12, 13 games, he's just been relentless. He's been always in the starting 11, putting in strong performances against some of the top strikers in the world. And yeah, he's looked really, really comfortable and shows that if there is life for Van Dijk, if he doesn't sign the contract extension, then Konate be that big man at centre-back who's, you know, more than capable of taking a team to a title. And then midfield as well, you've got Luxon Birch, Curtis Jones and Alexis McAllister, who them three as a trio has been amazing to watch. I wasn't really too sure of him at the start of the season, to be honest, when you got the likes of Gravenberch, who was coming off a really sort of a poor season last season, didn't really feature much, but yeah, he's been given the reins under Arne Slot and has proved to everyone in the league now that he's more than capable of being that number 6 who's going to break up the play and also sort of be an engine in there as well. So yeah, and obviously Alex McAllister, he's got that quality no matter what. He's a World Cup champion, you know, so he's got the quality, he's got the technique, and he's showing it again this season. And Curtis Jones, I think, is the most surprising one of the lot because he's been in and around the Liverpool side for a good few years now, but this season he's stepped up his game massively, and he looks really good under Arne Slot. And a lot of people say maybe they do need a 1 or 2 more midfielders, but for me, that trio looks really good. They're obviously 9 points clear, as I said, in the league, so why need to upgrade? You know, that the squad's doing great as it is. And Arne Slot's got to be given his flowers as well because he's been amazing this season, you know. Has really stepped up Liverpool when, you know, many thought that under Jurgen Klopp that was their limit, you know. They were sort of in and around second, third, not really performing up to the standards. Many thought that a lot of players were on the decline. But he's come in and again he's revolutionised the side. Yeah, he looked amazing. And in Europe this season as well, they're in the top of the league phase. You know, they've won 5 out of 5 games, only conceding 1 goal. You know, they've gone away to the likes of AC Milan, beat them 3-1 at home to Leverkusen, who dominated last season in the league and obviously in Europe, and they beat them 4-0. And then they've got Real Madrid at home as well, where they beat 2-0. So they're just looking great against the top sides in England as well as in Europe. So yeah, Arne Slot has handled the pressure very, very well. A lot better than I thought and a lot of other people thought, to be honest. Overall, for how they've done in Europe and in the league, Liverpool just had to be in here. Off to Scotland now, where we go to Aberdeen for their league performance this season. Finishing 7th in the league, confidence was very low. But now coming into this season, they're second after 13 games, displacing Rangers of that second place spot, who are seen as in a decline at the moment, you know, not really doing great in the league, doing okay in Europe, but in the league they've been really poor. And Aberdeen has sort of made a stamp in Scottish football as being that next challenger to Celtic maybe in a few years if they keep their players in. They went on an 11-game unbeaten run at the start of the season. They drew to Celtic and beat Rangers, so they've got what it takes to challenge Celtic, you know. They've took them right to the line in a 3-3 draw. And yeah, they look really strong, and it's not just their league position that's got everyone talking, it's the way they play as well has got everyone talking, because their crosses into the box are just a nightmare to deal with. You know, they get wide areas where it's the 2v1 scenarios a lot of the time, delivering balls in to Habib Gay up top, who's 6'2". And yeah, they make it really hard for defenders to cope and fullbacks to cope as well with their style of play. Man, Jamie McGarthy's looked really strong this season. You know, he's got 4 goals and 6 assists from those wide areas, and as touted for many as being another Celtic signing. But if they can keep a hold of him and maybe recruit another few smart signings here and there, I feel like they can keep challenging Celtic and maybe, you know, knocking on that door for a potential title. But there are so many other players as well who've contributed this season, and from the outside looking in, it looks like it's a real team performance this season, you know. A lot of players chipping in, a lot of players getting involved. It's not just one player, you know, dragging a team up. It seems to be a real sort of solid team performance. And so in terms of displacing Rangers and sort of making their mark on the league, I've got to give it to Aberdeen, and Aberdeen are in this list. Up next we have Napoli for their league performance this season in Serie A. After finishing 10th last season, confidence was probably at an all-time low for Napoli. They won the season before that, so going into last season, they probably thought, yeah, we'll do the same again, but finished 10th was really, really poor. And coming into this season as well, they lost the likes of Osimhen to Galatasaray, who wanted away and needed a move, and they got rid of their main man. And many thought, again, this might be the same old season, another mid-table finish. But Antonio Conte's come in and he's revolutionised the side. You know, he's brought in Lukaku up front, Scott McTominay in midfield, who's, you know, all I've heard was good things about him at Napoli at the moment this season, and he's been doing great. Billy Gilmore as well, who's settled in really well. So yeah, for me, they've been really, really good this season. Conte has got Napoli going back to basics really this season. Defence looks really, really solid. You know, they've only conceded 9 goals in the last 14 league games, and they've also kept clean sheets as well. So they've looked really, really solid defensively. But it's just the attacking numbers really that haven't looked great, but they're top of the league. You know, they're getting the results they need. Yes, it might not be, you know, high-flying, scoring loads of goals. It doesn't matter. They're getting the results, and that's what Antonio Conte does. When he comes into many sides, he gets results. It's a hard job to take over, you know. Before looking into it, you're seeing Osimhen wanting to leave. Kvaratskhelia as well wasn't really doing great. You know, his numbers were down from previous years. A lot of players were leaving as well. Zielinski went to Inter Milan, and it's a tough job to take. And he's took over, he's brought in some players, revolutionised the side, and Napoli are sitting top of the table. And full goes to Antonio Conte, because he doesn't get spoken about enough for me, to be honest. He's such a good quality coach, and yeah, deserves all the praise he gets. Any teams that I missed, guys, let me know in the comments down below. Be interesting to see what teams you guys might put in this list. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel as well, as it really helps us out, and we'll catch you in the next one.